Welcome to our meditation time. As you get comfortable, as your body settles, as your eyes close or your gaze softens, let's just each turn to our breath to begin this time together. Just notice the in and the out breath. Notice how you feel as you breathe. Notice if the breath helps you to lessen the attention that you pay to the distractions around you. And also notice if those distractions are still there. But really just come into this present moment, all the parts of it, the inhale, the noises around you, the physical sensations in your body. Just take it all in. Almost like you're just stepping outside of yourself and just watching, witnessing, noticing. And then I would encourage us each to take that awareness a bit deeper. Go right into your heart center, almost like you're trying to shine a spotlight there and just see what's going on in your heart, what's going on in your emotions, what's going on with this deepest core of who you are. Pay attention there as well. The beautiful thing about meditation, it doesn't ask us to leave all the parts alone and just ignore them. It asks us to be so aware of all the layers of us, all the things that we bring to this practice, all the potential distractions around us. This practice asks us to be aware. And then we choose where to focus our attention. That awareness becomes a little more acute. The noises around you get a little softer. The sensations in your body don't seem to bother you as much. Because now you're really focused on the in and the out breath. You're really focused on the condition of your heart. What a beautiful gift to give to yourself for these few minutes. And so let's just begin to unite our practice with just a few breaths together. So if you're lying down, just stretch out long. If you're seated, sit a little bit taller. And now together, let's just take a slow breath in. And then a big sigh out. And then a slow breath in. And a big sigh out. And then you settle into a rhythm that really honors what you need right now based on what you noticed with your witnessing. Our practice for these last several times together, and it will continue in the days to come, is focused on the idea of peace. Not the absence of peace, but the true cultivation of what peace looks like in our everyday lives. We've already begun to look at it from different angles and will continue to do so. But for these moments that we have today, I'd like us to think about the idea of integrity as we journey along this path of peace. When I say the word integrity, what comes to your mind? Just notice. What image is conjured up? What sensation do you feel in your heart? Integrity. What does that mean to you? Do you know it when you see it? What does it look like in other people? What does it look like in you? I've been sitting a lot lately with the story of Thich Nhat Hanh, just doing a lot of just study of his life as this beautiful teacher of this mindful way of living. Yes, he did it as a Buddhist monk, but he practiced this thing called engaged Buddhism, meaning he didn't go to the mountainside, he didn't sit in a cave, he didn't just study, he wanted to be among people. He wanted his practice to be engaged because to him that was the integrity of what the practice had given to him. Taking it out and sharing it with every person on the countryside, in the cities, in the schools, in the government. And to him, that was the integrity. What I do on my cushion, my metaphorical spot in meditation, has to permeate through all the other parts of my life. That's how he would have defined integrity. That's how he believed we would cultivate peace in this world. He would start on his cushion, on his spot, and he would nurture and develop this peace within himself first. Just as we are doing now, he would sit and he would breathe. And he would notice the distraction, or he'd notice the restlessness in his body, and then he'd come back and he'd pay attention to the breath. He would allow the mind to quiet. He would allow the body to become still. And he would allow that breath to serve as this bridge between this image that he thought he was and this image that he knew he could be. The core of his being, the essence of his heart. And I bring him up today, not just because he was a great teacher and such a good example, but because he gave us a pathway to live out the integrity of peace. He didn't tell us to go study books or to go and sit in temples and churches and synagogues. He told us it starts right here. And then the studying of the books and the sitting in the churches and the temples and the synagogues just makes it stronger. But it starts here. And so I want to just pause, and I want us each just to breathe and be for just this next little bit. And see if you can feel the peace. The peace that you nurture and develop and witness during your meditation practice. It doesn't mean that your mind will not wander. It doesn't mean that your hips and your knees won't get restless. But see if you can look beyond those things. Look deeply inside of you. Again, almost like you're shining a spotlight into your heart center. And just for these next several breaths, just see, what does peace look like in you? And as you continue to breathe, for some of us, that image was so very clear. You can see the peace. You know what it looks like. You know what it feels like. And for others, our attention goes to the challenges and the struggles and the heartbreak. And we're shining that light, and we're determined to see the peace. But sometimes it's hard. And wherever you are on that continuum in this moment today, embrace where you are. Every moment of this practice is just part of the journey. It's part of the cultivation. And we don't shine the light to see what's wrong. We just shine the light to be aware. Chances are we all have struggles. We all have challenges. We all have really hard things that we're dealing with personally, relationally, nationally. But in the last 2 days, I've had 2 different yoga students say to me, the peace is real. One said yesterday morning after our morning practice, she said, I don't know how I would have made it through this election last week if I didn't have this practice. And while I may not have always liked what was going on, I had this calm through it all. And she said it almost kind of scared me and shocked me because I'm not used to that. But I reminded her, she's been working on cultivating this peace for many, many months now. And when this trying time comes up, you get a chance to see the peace in action. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It doesn't mean that you don't have thoughts in your mind that you're grappling with. But it means that those things happening outside and around us don't go to our core of our center. They don't penetrate our soul. They're just the stuff we've got to navigate. And then I had another one this morning that texted me, letting me know that I wouldn't see her this week because her grandmother had had a stroke. And it wasn't 2 weeks ago that she buried her other grandmother. And as I checked on her to see how she was doing, she said, I'm almost surprised at how well I'm navigating these things. These would have destroyed me a year ago. But I have this sense of calm that I can't explain. 2 different ladies, don't even know each other. But they do the same thing that we're doing right here. They practice cultivating the peace. And that is what I think Thich Nhat Hanh has been teaching us for decades. We do the work here so that when the stuff out there comes, the peace abides and it carries us through. Now, I don't say those things for you to doubt yourself or judge yourself because maybe you don't quite feel it just yet. The overwhelm is overwhelming. But I give you those examples just to say that neither of these ladies that I spoke to in the last 2 days have had a practice for more than a year. Just in the last year. And from death and illness to political confusion, both are maintaining their peace. So what I'd like us to do is just to sit in the quiet and think about this idea of the integrity of this practice. What's it going to look like for you tomorrow? We spend these minutes here on this day. And then we get up the next day and we go to work and we go to our activities and we interact with our family and we do our chores and mark things off our list. What's the integrity of this practice look like? How does this piece here truly permeate all the other parts out there? So let's just pause, continuing to breathe slow, steady, deep breaths in and out. And just keep shining that light on your heart and just see, what could the integrity of my practice look like tomorrow? Begin to take a slow, deep breath in. And then just sigh it out. And a slow breath in. And sigh it out. And as we prepare to close our time in just a moment, I want to encourage each of us, wherever we are on this journey is where we are. There's a quote by Eckhart Tolle I've been using in the last few days. It says, what if this present moment, we could accept it almost with the idea that we actually planned it to be this way? So what if you could accept where you are in this journey, right here today, as if you'd planned it to be so? This is where I am. This is the stuff that I'm struggling with. And this is the peace that I want to cultivate. And I can accept it all in the here and the now. And then tomorrow, as I go through my day, I want to take all of this awareness with me and begin to really nurture the integrity of this practice as I live it out in my everyday life. Be encouraged by just the fact that you've shown up. Curious. And through that curiosity, that acceptance, you will begin to cultivate a spot within you that the peace can begin to grow. Until you'll be just like my friends these last 2 days saying, a year ago these things would have shook my world, would have sent me to a dark corner, would have caused me to react in so many different ways, but this peace, this practice is real. And we get to live it out every single day. But where we are now is where we are now. And it's a really good place to be. Namaste.